Alexa off. It's 10 a.m. Got 1 minute. 1 minute. All right, good luck. All right, guys, it's 10 a.m. We are going to get started. So happy Wednesday, everybody. Big day today. We have all of the franchise owners, Chris Waters, Susanna, Brad, all showing up. I've already picked up Chris. He's in Bakersfield. He's on a 6-mile run right now. And then he's going to be here at noon. So if you guys want to hang around and like meet everybody as they show up, it would be really cool to have as many people here to kind of like welcome them in. We do have one of the bigger teams in the group, so it'd be awesome to kind of like welcome them in. Today we're going to do a training on lead conversion. We're going to continue our series. This is the second week in the month-long training, so we're going to get real tactical today. Last week was about what is lead conversion, what are the factors that kind of play a role in that, right? So basically taking a lead and turning it into an appointment or turning that into a closed deal, right? So the better you are at converting leads, the more deals you're going to do, right? And the less people you have to work with in order to do those deals. Good morning, guys. So last week was all about the different factors that kind of play a role. This week we're going to get a little bit more tactical with Follow-Up Boss on what every lead needs to have, how you follow up with them, the smart list, all of that stuff, all right? So before we get into that, this is the week. This is the schedule for this week. We're on Wednesday right now. So after today, the office will be closed for the rest of the week, all right? If you need to come in and use a printer, or like you need to go in the conference room, no problem, right? But like this whole area, we're gonna be having our meetings for the rest of the week until everyone's taken off around noon on Friday. So after that, we'll be back open up. You can come do what you need to do. If you got open houses on the weekend, you can come in, print your flyers, get the signs, all of that stuff, all right? And then this Saturday, we have our spring barbecue. So raise your hand if you have got people to agree to come to the event. Teresa, a couple people. Okay, so everyone in this room should have someone coming to the event, right? Whether it is a current client, a past client, or someone that is a potential future client, right? So if you have friends or family members that you know might want to buy or sell in the next year or two, invite them as well, right? Because we want to get you in front of them, right? We want to provide value to them by giving them free Easter bunny photos and Easter egg hunt and like have a lot of fun. I just went and bought another big screen TV for our raffle. There's gonna be like prizes, free food, drinks, all that. So get them out here, especially the newer agents that just got in. Like you need to start letting people know you're in real estate, right? Like that way they know to call you whenever, or if they have a question or if they have somebody, maybe they know someone, right? If they know someone, like if they say, oh, I'm staying in my house for the next 10 years. Cool, do you know anybody? Bring them with you. You can still come, right? So get as many people out to our event this Saturday as possible. The goal of doing these is to get referral business, right? We provide value, it's cool, it keeps us in contact with our past clients, but it does have a cost, right? Like these events are very expensive. So the reason we do them is because repeat and referral business is still the biggest way that agents get their deals, right? From friends, family member, people they know. It still reigns supreme. So we make it easy on you guys by just like throwing these parties so that you can invite all your people. You stay in front of them every couple months, and then they're going to remember you when it's time to, you know, buy or sell a house. All right, so that's this Saturday. So if you have not invited anyone yet or you don't have people coming, use the call jam after this, that portion, to call them and get them out, okay? And there is a link in the team chat for like, if someone says yes, make sure you fill the link out for them to RSVP so we know how many people are coming. Next is our company mission. You guys should know this by heart by now. I don't even know it by heart. But so it's to be the gold standard in the real estate industry for creating exponential growth for our agents, which is you guys. And then we want to provide an unmatched service, right? Like we want to provide the best service out of any real estate company anywhere, right? We want to be the gold standard, and we want to be able to do that repeatedly, not just like every once in a while, right? So we want to build a system, build a business that is able to deliver on that time and time again. Whether it's your first deal or your 100th deal, every client that works with this company should get the same 5-star level service, right? So that's what we're trying to build here. Our goal, 270 closed transactions for the year. So 200 buyers, 70 sellers is kind of the way that I thought it would pan out. We are on track on the listing side. We have hit our goal every single month. Buy side is where we're a little bit behind, but we knew we would start out that way just because we really grew the team early on, and it takes a little while for you guys to get going, right? So we're gonna make up what we need to in the back half of the year. And right now is the time that it starts because Q1 usually sucks. Q2, Q3, that's where agents make all their money. So these next 6 months, this is gonna be the bulk of your income for this year. So I would lock in for these next 6 months and work your butt off. That way you can kind of coast through the rest of the year. All right, good morning. Okay, I didn't update the slide yet. On Monday we decided it's not a cruise to Mexico, it is one of these. So if anyone closes 10 deals in Q2, then you're gonna get a MacBook Pro, all right? So a laptop, that's what everybody wanted. So that'll be the challenge. I'll update the slide. Yeah, if you don't have an iPhone, we're going to upgrade you to iPhone so that you can stay on the team. If you have an Android, you should leave. Right, the line, you guys know this. So to be on the team, once you go through our 90-day onboarding, the extended interview, right, you got to close 1 deal a month or 3 a quarter on average, right? So we give you some time to get going. Once you get past your first 90 days, you go on this. You got to close 3 deals per quarter. That's what it takes to be on the team, right? There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to do that with all of the leads, all of the support, and like as much as we do. That's pretty easy, right? That's like the minimum. Like I want you guys doing like 2 to 3 a month, right? That's the goal for all of us, is to close 24 or more deals every year. Then we hit our goals real easily. We have our competition going right now. So it is most agreements signed, which is buyer reps and offers accepted, right? So whichever team has the most of those at the end of this month is going to get a team lunch. I know we said next week we're probably going to take the March team that won, take those guys to lunch. All right? And then recruiting dollars, you guys also know this. I'm like a broken record. So you can get paid for bringing agents onto the team. So it's 10% of the gross commission income, right? So if you have a friend that's getting into real estate or has been in real estate, maybe they're looking for a change. If you refer them to me, I'll interview them. If they're a good fit, we'll hire them. Their first 5 closings, you're going to get 10% of the total commission, all right? So on average, let's just say it's $7,500 commission, you get $750, all right? We've had this happen already at a lot higher rates, so you can make a lot of money doing that as well. And we'll stop there. All right, so today's training, like I said, is going to be, we're continuing lead conversion. Did anyone have any questions from last week about lead conversion? No? Okay. So I want to get pretty tactical on, let me go to my next one. Oh, by the way, we got a new TV today, and it works way better, so I don't have to like close out all these screens. Okay, so if you guys, have notepads, I want you to take notes on this stuff. I've done this training before, so this was an old slide, but there's a lot of newer people, so we're going to go over this, right? There are notepads in here, pens, or type it on your computer. Give you guys a sec to do that. This is really, really important stuff. Did we record the video? The last week's training? Yes. Yeah, we have the entire training. It's on. It's actually on YouTube. So everything we like record, it goes on YouTube, because that's where I have to put it in order to like do all the editing and stuff on the other stuff. So Celeste has notepads coming around. So raise your hand if you've heard the word segmentation. One person has ever heard that word in their life. Okay. So there is something, so when it comes to lead conversion, there's something called lead, or like a database of people, right? There's something called lead segmentation, all right? And the way that it helps in lead converting is it puts people in different groups, right? The most obvious example in real estate is you have your buyers and you have your sellers, right? If you didn't know, if you just had a group of 10,000 people or 10,000 leads, and you didn't know who were buyers and who were sellers, and you wanted to market to those people, you wouldn't know which messages to send, right? You don't want to send messages about selling your house to someone who doesn't own a home, right? Like then it falls on deaf ears, like it doesn't even matter to them, right? Or you don't want to send down payment assistance, or maybe you do, but down payment assistance, first-time home buyer programs to investors that own multiple homes, right? Like those aren't the people that use those products, right? So the most basic of lead segmentation in real estate is you have buyers and you have sellers, right? Another example of that lead segmentation could be location, right? It could be people are looking in this zip code, people are looking in this zip code, or they're looking in this county, or they're looking in this county or this city, right? If you have people that are looking for homes in Bakersfield, right? They want to buy in Bakersfield. You do not want to be sending them homes in Tehachapi, or in Taft, or in Fresno, or in Los Angeles, right? It does not make sense. Like they will get upset about it. I've heard it before when I go on appointments. Like, why do you send me houses where I don't even want to look at houses, right? So that's another form of segmentation, right? Marketing is all about getting the right message to the right people, right? So if I know I have a buyer looking to buy in West Bakersfield, so anywhere west of the 99, and I want to, market to that person to try to get them to use me. Like one of the ways we do it is like we send them listings, right? Every agent sends listings, like it's a normal thing. So I'm going to send them listings in the zip codes that are on that side of town, right? 09, 01, 14, or not 01, 11, 14, 13, 12. Like those are the areas that they want to buy. So that's the type of messaging that I'm going to send to them, all right? So that's what lead segmentation is. It dramatically increases lead conversion. I had a slide before, but there's a company, there's a really big company called HubSpot out there in the world. There's like a tech company, website, stuff like that. I was reading about them. They said their lead conversion or their sales or whatever, like it went up 500% in 1 year when the only thing they did was they segmented their database. Right? So what they just started sending the right messages to the right people instead of just sending out blanket messages to everybody, right? And so you want to be as tactical as possible when it comes to how you follow up with people, what you're sending people, and then for me as well, because I do a lot of the marketing, right? I'll send out emails to the entire database, right? And I'll segment who I'm sending it to. So if I'm going to write an email about buying a home, I'm going to get all the leads and the pawns or the names or whatever, and I'm going to put in the tag buyer, right? So that I only get all the buyer leads. Then I know that my messaging is going to the right people, and if they consistently see that over time, then you call them, they're like, oh yeah, I get your emails. Like it really does work, and that's part of our marketing plan that we're going to be doing. So I need your guys' help to make sure that our leads are all segmented correctly, okay? So there's a couple things every lead has to have in Follow Up Boss, right? So every lead in your name needs to have these things. So, and for different reasons too, which we'll go over. So first and last name, obvious, right? You need to have the lead's name. Email address, phone number, we want their contact information, right? Another reason is if I'm going to send out 5,000 emails, I don't want to send emails to leads that don't have email addresses, right? And so that's another way to segment leads. Or phone numbers, right? Background information. So you guys know in Follow Up Boss on the left-hand side, there's that little section that says background, right? Every single one of your leads should have something written right there. Because remember, if you claim a lead, right, you put it in your name, you're going to follow up with this person. Usually that means they said they want to buy a house or they want to sell a house, right? And you should kind of know what they're looking for, right? Looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath in Rosedale, or looking for a mobile home, or wants to sell land, or wants to sell their house in January 2026, whatever. The most important information that you need to remember every single time you look at that lead, that's what your background notes should be, right? That way you don't have to scroll through all your notes every single time you're going to call them, right? Like you know the basics, like, oh yeah, I remember John, he's looking for that 4-bedroom house with a pool in Rosedale, right? Like it kind of like jogs your memory of like exactly what they're looking for so that you can bring it up every time you talk to them, all right? So you should have background information on every single lead. If it's a seller, so they have a house to sell, right? Buyers, not so much, but sellers, they need to have an address in the contact details, all right? Because that's how we send them seller stuff, home value reports, things like that. It pulls from the contact details whatever the address is, okay? So if you have a seller, make sure you can put it in the background, but make sure you put it in the contact details, right? For the marketing, that's where it's gonna pull from, and that's how we're able to search people on like social media, on Google, and send them ads as well, based off contact details. Next is the correct lead stage. So we've been talking a lot about this, right? Our 411s last week, the training. You want to make sure you have your lead in the proper stage. That is another form of lead segmentation, right? A new lead versus someone in the nurture stage or someone in the showing home stage, right? Our follow-up plans are all based off what stage the lead is in. So every single time you're calling through your leads, you want to make sure your job is to update the stage and get them to the next step, right? If they're showing homes, your job is to get them to the next stage, right? Which is what? Submit an offer, right? Once you get them submitting offers, what's the next stage after that? What's your job? Get them in contract, right? That's where they go into the under contract stage. And then from there, what's the next stage after that? I should have it as paycheck, right? But it's closed. Yeah, so close. So your job is, as an agent, is to move people from first time you ever talk to them all the way through the buying process down to a closed deal, right? And so the follow-up plans are based off the stages. All right, the next thing, lead source. Every lead needs to have a lead source so that we can track that, right? What's working, what's not working. Should we spend money on this lead source or should we cut it? Right? Should we double our budget on this lead source because we're getting a lot of closings from it, or should we cut it, right? That's how that helps me make decisions on what's working and what to where to move the money to get you guys better leads. All right, and then county tag. So there's, we get leads from like all over the place, right? So if they are looking anywhere in Kern County, you want to make sure that there's a tag there that says Kern. All right, or if they're looking in Fresno or Los Angeles, like you want to make sure that those tags are there. That way, when I'm sending out messages, good morning. That way, when I'm sending out messages, I'm not sending the wrong messages to the wrong people. All right, so, and the tag needs to be wherever they're looking to do business. So if they live in LA, right, but they want to buy in Bakersfield or Tehachapi or whatever, you put the Kern tag. All right. The next thing is the buyer or seller tag. Every single lead needs to have this. Super, super important for our marketing. Like I said, I don't want to sell your home for top dollar to someone who doesn't own a home, right? We don't want to send those ads and those marketing because we pay for advertising to these people. And so we need to make sure we're sending them to the right people. If it's an ISA stage, that's only for the ISAs. The next part that we're going to spend some time on, or the next two parts, if it is a buyer, it should have a buyer tag. You need to have a listing alert set up on every single one of your buyers, all right? Which means they're getting sent homes every time a new listing that matches their search criteria, or however you set it up, they get emailed those homes, all right? And there's a few reasons that we do that, and that's what we're gonna go do next. If it is a seller, you need to have the seller report, which is their home value report, all right? Someone says, oh, I want to know how much my home is worth, but they're not ready to sell. They're just like kind of thinking about it. We can send them a home value report. We send those out every 2 weeks, all right? But the only way that works is one, if they're in Wailopo, and then two, they have an address. If they don't have an address, then it's not going to send them a seller report because we don't know what home to value for them, all right? So that's why the address is super important on the sellers. And then automated text and email campaigns, that's something the company does. All right, so the next thing is, what should your day look like? All right, and so we do this on the inside sales team and we do this on the operations team, but I don't think I've ever really gone over this with you, like what order of things you should do. Maybe I have, but the schedule of like a high producing agent, all right? Most high producing agents, they're gonna show up early, they're gonna get to the office, right? The first thing, and I used to do this a lot, is they're going to do skill building. So you guys have coaching calls, usually in the morning, right? We have an 8 o'clock listing call on Tuesdays. We have the 9:30 agent call, the sales training. We have our team meetings, right? So you're either going to be doing that, or you might do some role play with scripts. So phones, open houses, showings. So skill building is usually the first thing. Like if you follow a lot of real estate, like really high producing agents, like it's all about that. So this is something we're going to start to do more of as well, trying to give you guys some more opportunities to do this, like role play. I'm trying to figure out how to make it a game for our like meetings and stuff. Like how can we like do role play competitions where you guys get points for your awards or whatever. Then the next thing, once you do that, this is the order that I tell the inside sales team and the operations team to do things. So you log into Follow Up Boss. The first thing you want to do is you want to complete any tasks for the day. All right. So if you're leaving yourselves task in Follow Up Boss, usually that's like send out a confirm your appointments later on today, right? A lot of times they're confirmation text or confirmation phone calls, all right? So you want to get to your, like we call it task 0, where you have no overdue tasks and all your tasks for today are done, all right? So let me show you where you do that. So up here in the top left-hand corner, you have the little tasks button. Mine's probably crazy. Honey's is over. Let's go look at everyone. Buyers agents. Okay, so this is everyone on the team right now. So you have your today's tasks, you have your overdue, and you have your future tasks, all right? A lot of these are gonna be like confirmations or like follow-up calls, all right? So overdue tasks, it shows we have 187 overdue tasks as a team right now. So when you do these, and like let's say this guy right here. David, this was one of yours. So when you do the task, like let's say it's call this guy at 1 p.m., and then you go and call him at 1 p.m., don't forget to check it off, all right? Because it doesn't go away automatically. So you want to make sure you check that off. But if you're looking at this every day, you'll be like, oh, I called him yesterday. That's not overdue. I actually did it, right? So you want to check off your tasks to where you get to 0 in your overdue and 0 in your today. So like we have 30 tasks due between everybody due today, all right? The way to find it, when you're going, you can go to your task, or like I said, it's also on the lead page over off to the right-hand side, all right? So what I would do, first thing, I would do show up, do any of my training or my coaching, do some role play. Then I would log into Follow Up Boss. I'll go clear all my tasks for today. Mine are usually confirmed listing appointments, right? Send out confirmation texts. Once you get to 0, the next thing is you're gonna do, where's it at? You wanna clear your inbox, right? So this is kind of what I want you guys really focusing on and like writing down. So you clear your tasks for the day, so you're all caught up on your tasks. Then you go to your inbox in Follow Up Boss. So your inbox is this right here. It's up at the top left-hand corner. So what you want to do, and I'm bad about this, but it's a lot, I'll do it usually once a week. You want to zero it out, right? You want to get rid, because then you'll get like, it's like text messages where you have like 10,000 text threads. It's a lot easier to like just start from the beginning every day. So you're going to look for any missed calls from the night before, or text messages or things that might have come in when you were not working. And if you need to respond to any of those, then that's when you're going to respond to those, right? Like maybe a buyer called, or a seller, or a home inspector, whatever. You want to respond to those, right? So you call them, you text them. Once you do that, you want to close out this conversation. So right here, you can respond to all of your messages, to all your leads right here. So like this one was just a confirmation text for a showing. I'm just going to close that out. Once you go through all your conversations, then you know you're all caught up, right? No one's waiting on you to follow up with them. So you just close it out. That way you have nothing here. You start the day fresh every single day. So we call that, once you get it to where there's nothing here, we're going to call that inbox 0, all right? So task 0 means you have no overdue tasks. Inbox 0 means you've gone through your inbox, you've responded to everyone you needed to, and you've closed them all out, so there's nothing there anymore. Then, once you do that, The next thing is, this is the big thing, top producing agents follow up, right? Follow up like crazy. That's like the name of the game in real estate, right? You want to make sure you stay in contact with all of your leads. And so that's going to be your smart list, right? So every single lead in your name is going to be in one of your smart lists at one point or another, right? Unless you do perfect follow-up, right? But literally what the smart lists are there for are to remind you when to call your people, right? So let's say they're on nurture, and that's a once every 30-day phone call or text or email, right? By the way, call, text, email, that all counts as a form of communication. So if you do any one of those things, it's going to take them out of the smart list, all right? So I would do all of them every time. I would call twice, text, and email if they didn't answer my calls. That way you're giving yourself the best chance of like them responding somehow. So you want to go through your smart list, all right? So let's look. In order to do that, you go to your people tab. You have all your smart lists over here on the left-hand side. So right now we're looking at buyers, agents, or the whole team. So active. So there are 13 people in the active stage that are overdue for a phone call right now between the whole team, all right? So if you are going to go do your follow-up calls, you go to your active pipeline. If it's in your name, you'll see it here. You call them, boom, they're gone, right? Then you go to your number 2, new leads. Holy shit. There are 220 people in the new leads category that are overdue for a phone call, meaning we are not following up the way that we're supposed to follow up, all right? So you need to go through, and this might mean, and so that doesn't mean we're not actually following up. What I see a lot of is we just don't update the stage, right? We have tried to call them, or we have talked to them, or they have texted us back, but we never move the lead from lead to spoke with customer or to appointment set, right? So that's why I say whenever you call someone, every single time your job is to update the stage, right? And if you don't get a hold of them or whatever, then they just stay in that stage. But if you do get a hold of them, you're trying to get them to the next part, right? Which is appointment set, appointment met, show homes, submit offers. Like you're constantly working on moving people through the buyer pipeline. So there's 220 people. So that's 220 calls that should happen today between the team. Then we have talk to now. There's 42 people in there, needs follow-up. There's 11. So you just work through your list from 1 through 8, right, every day. And so once you call every single person or text or email, once you call everyone in your list 1 through 8 for the day, you will have nobody left in your smart list for that day. That means you did perfect follow-up that day. You called everyone that you were supposed to, or you tried to get a hold of them, right? And like I said, that is huge in lead conversion. Remember, it takes 7 to 12 times before you ever will get, like contact attempts, before you'll ever usually get an appointment, like on average. So if you get a new lead and you only call them once or twice, like you are not going to convert very many leads. The average, like to get to a closing, is over 20. Like 20 contact attempts. Like the ones that we close, they have the highest contact attempts, right? I gave the story last week of that team in Canada, #1 team in Canada. I was at this event and they were talking about the average contact attempts on their leads. They're like 20 to 30. Every single lead in their database has been contacted at least 20 to 30 times. Their #1 producer is over 40. He calls every single one of his leads over 40 times, right? So I want to make an agreement with you guys, right? That every single new lead that comes in, right? Every single person that you claim or you get at an open house or sphere or they comment on one of your social media videos or whatever, like you are gonna commit to getting a hold of every single one of those people, right? You're gonna call them until you get a hold of them, right? Because that's what it takes, right? Like if you call someone twice, you never get a hold of them and you just never do anything, well then that lead's gonna probably meet somebody else and buy a house, right? So I want us to make an agreement that we are gonna get a hold of every single person going forward. Like every single person that comes in, we're gonna get a hold of them no matter what it takes. Calls, texts, emails, direct messages, whatever we gotta do, all right? And we will see a huge increase in lead conversion, all right? Okay, next part is gonna be So once you've done your tasks, you got to task 0, you've done your inbox, you've all your voicemails and text messages from last night, you responded to all that stuff, you got to 0, you close them out, you did your smart list for the day. Now is when you can go start prospecting for new business. All right, so that's going to be calling the pawns, right? It could be open houses. It could be posting on social media. Here, we make a lot of calls, right? You got to hit your conversations. You got to get 25, right? So you want to go into the pawns and start prospecting for new business. That is to bring people into your buyer or seller pipeline, right? You're trying to find people that say, I want to buy or I want to sell. You're going to claim those leads, put them in your name, put them in the right stage, wherever they're at, and then you're going to do the follow-up, right? And this is how you build a pipeline, and this is how you get the most out of that. Yes?
If they're on a stage and you have just claimed them, but it says showing homes, you change that stage to where you're at with them?
Yes, I would. Yeah, because like if they go into the pond, they go in at whatever stage they were at, right? And then we never update them when they're in the pond. Like we don't update the stages, right? Because if you update a stage, that means you probably talk to them, they probably want to buy a house, so then you claim the lead, right? That's where I would update the stage to appointment set or met or spoke with customer, whatever it is from there. That's another thing though, when you're calling the ponds, especially like the stock pond. The stock pond is supposed to be leads that were assigned to an agent at one point, right? So they either got taken in a lead sweep or the agent's no longer here, so we put all the company leads in there. The only reason a lead should be in your name to begin with is because they said they want to buy or sell a house, right? So all of those leads should be higher quality. Like they told someone on our team at some time they wanted to buy or sell. And what I would do is I would filter those leads to like the closest stages to the bottom of the funnel. So I look for all the leads that say like they were in the stage, submitting offers, showing homes, appointment met, because you know if they got to that stage, they were probably serious buyers, right? So you could go filter your ponds, even in the hunting ground. Like there's tons of leads that are in the submitting offers or showing home stage. Like those people ghost you sometimes, right? For 2-3 months, you don't follow up, they get pulled out of your name, they go in the pond, but they were looking to buy a house a month or 2 months or 3 months ago. And raise your hand if this has ever happened to you. I know we're newer agents, but have you ever had a buyer ghost you or a seller? And then like 3 months later, they come back like, hey, we're ready now. Like nothing ever happened, right? Like I've been trying to call you for 3 months.
I feel like you weren't bugging them for
Yeah,
forever.
it happens all the time. It's the weirdest thing. Like it's like to them, it's like you called them yesterday and then they just took a 3-month break and then like call you then it's like it was like yesterday, right? Oh, hey, by the way, when do we go see more houses? Like, where have you been for 3 months, right? But it happens all the time. So you don't want to get rid of those people. You want to follow up with them until they come back, right? That's like a very normal thing in real estate. So people get discouraged, like, oh, they ghosted me, they're not answering anymore, right? So they'll get rid of the leads. Don't do that, because those people come back a lot.
How often should you follow up with them when you're in the ghost period?
So in our follow-up boss little Bible thing, right, the stages, if you set an appointment with someone or like they're not answering or whatever, you can move it to the nurture stage, which means you don't kind of know their time frame, but you know they said they wanted to buy at some point. That's a once every 30-day call. All right, so like if I have a new lead, well let's say I claim a lead, I set an appointment, they don't show up. What the process should be is you call, text, and email them for 3 days in a row to try to rebook that appointment. If you do not hear from them, then you move the lead to nurture. Because you don't want to call them every single day, like forever, right? Like you call them for a few days, try to get a hold of them, rebook the appointment, or they say, oh, we're going to hold off, move them to a different stage. But if you can't get a hold of them, I'd move them to nurture because it's still a good lead, right? And you're just going to call up once a month. You know, that way they still get the emails, they still get the marketing. They may come back to the website, which is a big way that they come back is what we're going to talk about next. Because we do run ads to these people as long as they're in Ylopo. Like we pay for retargeting ads every single month. So anyone who's in Ylopo is getting served ads on the internet, which is what brings them back to the website. But only if they're in Ylopo and only if they have an email address, because that's how they find them, is through that. Which is, we're going to talk about that next. Once you've done that, it's probably lunchtime. So you take a break, eat, whatever you want to do. Then the afternoon, so a lot of high producing agents, they will try to save their afternoons for like appointments, right? If you don't have any appointments, you prospect more, try to get some appointments, right? But showings, pre-quals, listing appointments, if you want to do open houses during the week, if you don't have much going on, you probably want to continue to prospect, make calls, or do more open houses until you do have stuff to do, right? And then, or even post content, right? Go out, do videos on houses or new construction. Like, that's the time you want to do that stuff, all right? And usually by 2, you're done. And like, you can chill, do whatever you want the rest of the day. Weekends, those are for open houses and appointments, right? So if you are good, like, because a lot of people like to look at homes on the weekends, right? So you show homes on the weekend, or they want to get pre-qualified. You want to do your open houses. Those are the best times to do those things as well. Now, I do understand that things get a little messed up sometimes. Like, we have showings at 10 a.m., right? That's important. Go do it, right? Like, those people are ready to buy now. Like, go do it, right? But the busier you get, the more intentional you have to be with your time so that you're not wasting and you're being as efficient as possible. So like for me, like my first half of my days are meetings and trainings. Like that's it. I have only afternoons available for appointments. Like every once in a while, like I had to go on a 7 a.m. listing appointment yesterday, that canceled by the way, but I had to be out at Gossamer Grove at 7 a.m. Because my day's booked, right? I don't have time, especially this week, I don't have time till next week. Like the busier you get, the more clients you have, like the more appointments you're gonna always have. So you want to still save time for follow-up and for getting new business, because what happens, and this is called the real estate roller coaster. Who's ever ridden the real estate roller coaster? Okay, the real estate roller coaster is you do all these things, right? Then you get 2, 3, 4, 5 clients, right? Now you're out showing houses, you're doing appointments, you get them into escrow and your hair's on fire, right? And so you're dealing with all this crazy stuff. And so what happens is you stop doing all these things, right? That's keeping your pipeline moving and keeping it full, right? So what happens is you start down here, you get all these clients, you're riding the wave up, then you're up here, they're all in escrow, and you're running around putting out dumpster fires all day, and then they all close. And then you're back down here, and you have nothing. And so then you gotta start again, and you gotta go all the way back up, and then you get back into escrow, now you're putting out dumpster fires all day, and then they all close, and you're back down here. That is the real estate roller coaster, right? It is a very familiar, like, talk to any agent that's been in the business for a long time, they will know exactly what I'm saying when I say the real estate roller coaster, because we all did it. I used to do it all the time. Like, that was me. I'd go do a bunch of, because I did open houses a lot, right? I'd get all these people in escrow. Like, worst month of my real estate career, I had 5 deals in escrow. It was like my second year. I had 5 deals in escrow. All 5 blew up in the month of September. I went from 5 to 0 in a single month, right? And I had nothing else going. So what I had to start over again, right? Build my pipeline back up, do the same thing, get them in escrow, and then close them, and then guess what? Start over again, right? So if you can avoid that, and the way to avoid it is to have consistent lead flow coming in and to follow up on all those leads, right? So that your production looks a little bit smoother. Now I consistently close 6 deals a month every month right now, like easy. And so you want your deal count to be smooth, like 1, 2, 3 a month. Like you'll always have income coming in, and you'll basically the way to do it is follow up. Like that is the thing. You just follow up. You keep time in your day for the things that bring you more business. Once you stop doing the things that bring you more business, and remember, real estate is like a 90-day cycle, right? You're not gonna feel it right now. That's why it's easy to stop doing these things, because like I have all these deals in escrow, everything's good. I stop making my follow-up calls. I'm not gonna instantly feel the pain of that until 60, 90 days later when I don't have anything going, right? Like it takes a while for it to catch up because escrows are long. You're working with these people, so you won't feel it now, but you will feel it 3 months from now, right? So everything in real estate is a 90-day cycle. So once you stop, I can bet. If you don't have any closings in a month or 2 months, you think I'm gonna look at what you did those months? Like, why don't you have any deals? No, I'm gonna look at what you were doing 90 days ago. How many calls, how many conversations, how many open houses were you doing then, right? Because the reason you don't have anything now is because you probably stopped doing things 90 days ago, right? And you can consistently see that. Anytime someone does have closings, I look at what they did 3 months ago, and it's like, oh, I took a few weeks off, like I had all these deals going, so I wasn't making my follow-ups, right? And it's like, well, that's why, right? So you want it. This is like super, super important to make sure you don't ride the real estate roller coaster. I know roller coasters are fun. The real estate roller coaster, though, is not fun, all right? You don't want to be on it. Any questions on any of this stuff? Anyone want to add anything? No? All right. So let's go to the next one. All right, setting up YLOPO. Your favorite piece of technology that we use. I know all of you love YLOPO. So YLOPO, for you guys that don't know, that is what we use to send out listing alerts, right? It's our IDX site. So people are able to search for homes on our website. All the listings from the MLS, they're all on there. And we have Bakersfield, Tehachapi, Fresno, Tulare, and CRMLS all hooked up to our home search website. So they can basically look at homes anywhere in California on ours. So this is how we send them the homes for the buyers, right? It's also how we send the home value reports for the sellers, all right? So I'm gonna go through and show you guys like how to set it up. So if you wanna take notes or whatever. A couple things though. If one of your leads does not have the stars link, the YLOPO stars link, that means they are not getting sent any homes or home value reports, all right? Every single lead in our database should have a YLOPO stars link, all right? The only time you can't add them to YLOPO is if they don't have an email, all right? So whenever you talk to them, it's really easy. Hey, what's the best email address for me to send these homes to? Right? Everyone wants you to send them home, so it's like really easy to get that, right? And they'll give you the right one. And so that does a few things for us. One, it allows us to send them the homes. Two, it gets them into YLOPO, and then they go into our marketing, our retargeting campaigns, which let's say they're not looking at homes. Every time they get on social media or on Google, they're going to see homes for sale ads. And then they click on them, and then it goes right back to our website. You get a notification. Hey, so-and-so just came back to the website. They haven't looked at homes in a while, right? And then guess who you call? You should probably call them. Right? It helps you to convert leads better by bringing them back to the website. The next thing for the home value reports, they got to have an address as well. All right? So if they don't have the address and they're a seller, let's say, oh, I want to sell next year. Okay, cool. I'm going to send you a quick home value report just so you can keep an eye on the value of your home. What's the best email address to send it to? Right? They will give you the email address. And then you can set up the seller alert. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this. Also, I know we were having some issues with YLOPO. Like Alyssa, I know yours. Have you tested it yet?
Yeah, I'm good now.
It's working now? Okay. So it's a little bit of a pain. Every time someone comes onto the team, they have to add more code on the back end of the website. It's called DNS records. And so I don't have access to that. Like the website people and YLOPO have to do it. And so we got everybody added. So there are a few people that weren't. So it should be working for everyone now. Okay? If it is not, please let Celeste know, not me. No. You can tell me and then I'm going to tell Celeste. All right, let's go to follow-up boss. So quick way to find out who doesn't have a home alert set up in your leads. So if we go to everyone in the buyer agents category, for you it would be just your name, right? You can add filters here on the right-hand side. So at the very bottom in the custom filters, there is one that says YLOPO stars link. If you click on that, it'll say is not empty, contains, or is empty. I want to see the is empty one. So there are currently 369 leads that are assigned to you guys that do not have this link right now, right? Which means we are not sending them homes, we are not sending them home values, we are not sending them ads, right? And all of those things dramatically increase lead conversion. All right, so the other thing though, the other piece that you would do, because remember, if they don't have an email address, you can't add them. So I would do the email one, and I would put either is good or is not empty. It's only 3 people difference, so is good. So out of those people, 175 of them have a good email address. All right, so what you should do today is go to your leads, do the same 2 filters. So YLOPO stars link is empty. Write that down if you're not going to remember. YLOPO stars link is empty. Email is good. It's 2 filters. Everyone who pops up, you're going to do what I'm going to show you next. So let's say this person right here. So they have an email address. That's all they have. They don't have a phone number. They came in on the 7th through referral exchange, inquired about a property. No follow-up yet. Liz, this is you. Make sure you call them, please. Oh, that actually kind of brings something up too. So you know how, when do we do, what's that? You'd have to email them, yeah. Email will still count though as a form of communication. And the other thing too that YLOPO does, this wasn't on the slide, I don't know how they do it, but they are really good at getting people's real phone numbers. And so because they send them ads, right, when people come back to the website, they make them log in with their phone number. And it knows if it's a bad number or not. And so I've seen tons of times where a lead comes in and like they put a tag on it like YLOPO phone number. It means they submitted a different phone number than what we had in YLOPO to see the houses. And then that's usually the right one. So it's also, that's one of the best things about them is they can get better contact information through their system. So another reason to have them on the home search. Like this person right now, if you start sending them homes and they go to YLOPO, it's going to make them put their phone number in. And then boom, you can get their phone number. And it will automatically put it here for you too. All right, so right here, the way to know if your people, I showed you guys the filters, right? You can just look them up. But if you look at your leads here on the bottom left-hand side where it says YLOPO stars link, there's usually a blue link right there if they are getting it, right? If there's no blue link, then you know they don't have it. And then same thing at the very bottom one, the YLOPO seller report. If there's no blue link right there, it means they're not getting a seller report, right? Now that's only for sellers, right? You don't need to send buyers seller reports. But the first thing you have to do is you have to add them to YLOPO, which means they're going to get the stars link. So every lead should have that. Only seller leads will have this and that, all right? You have to have this every lead. This is only for sellers. So how do we add these people? The way that I do it is I go to YLOPO, what's the website? Stars.com? Stars.ylopo.com.
Can you say that one more time?
Stars.ylopo.com. And then it's going to pull up this page right here. Super fancy page. If you have an account, you're just always logged into this, all right? So up here on the top left-hand corner, you can click on Add Lead. And then you can either put in all the lead information here, or you can pull the details from Follow Up Boss. And so if you click on that, it gives you this little box right here that you can copy and paste the lead URL. So if you don't know what a URL is, it's a website address, right? So this right here, you just copy it, then you go paste it right here, then you hit pull details, and then there's all her information right there. All right. Then over here on the right-hand side, you can do, you want to check this box. If it's unchecked, there won't be anything here. But you want to create a saved search, right? This is going to be their home search that you're going to create for them. So you check the box, then it's going to ask you what to label it. That's what they're going to see on their email, right? So we could just say homes for Leslie Burchell. And Leslie, if you see this on YouTube one day, thank you for letting me use you. Then it's going to ask, okay, what areas do you want? All right, this one, if it tells you, it says Exeter. If you click on the email, it might say where they were looking. Yeah, so she was looking in Exeter, California. All right. So Follow Boss, it already knew that, so it already pulled it in. But you can always check and see, like, if they come in as a lead, like they wanted information on a house at Tehachapi, where do you think you should send them homes? Tehachapi, right? Don't get too fancy with it. Just pick wherever they're looking. So Exeter, so it already put it there. Where it says type, there are two different kinds. So there's agent defined and there's dynamic. You should always pick dynamic, all right? Agent defined means whatever you set right here, it'll never change. Dynamic means if they go to the website and they start looking for homes on there, it's going to automatically update their search criteria and save their search history. So if they're looking at Exeter and they don't find nothing, then all of a sudden now they start looking in Rosamond or Mojave, wherever the hell that is, right? Then it's automatically going to start sending them homes in those areas too. So you don't ever have to update it again once you set it this way. So pick dynamic, price range. It already put this price range, so I'm imagining that's probably what she was looking at. So I'm going to leave it there. Or you can increase it. Just go 250. I don't even know if they're going to pull any homes. You can go square footage. You can go year built, minimum, maximum, homes, condos, townhouse, manufactured, multi-family, land, commercial. You can set what type of properties, how long they've been on the market. I would keep these as minimum as possible. Like, and another key thing, another mistake I see agents make a lot is someone says they want a 4-bedroom, 3-bathroom, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom. And this is on all IDX websites. The MLS is the only one that lets you like be super specific about bathroom count. But let's say bathrooms, minimum bathrooms. 1, 2, 3. But how do bathrooms usually work? They have half baths, 3/4 baths, right? And so most 3-bedroom, 2-bath homes are actually 3 and 1 3/4, right? Like one has a shower only, the other one has a tub in it, right? So if you put I want a 3-bed, 2-bath, but then you only put 2 baths as the filter, you're gonna miss every other house that has a 1 3/4 or a 1.5, right? So you always kind of go one less. Because if they're looking for a 4-bed, well, would they buy a 3-bed with an office, right? Probably, because that 4th bedroom or that office a lot of times gets used as a bedroom, or it is a bedroom, but the taxes it doesn't show it, right? New construction does that a lot. They have an office or a bedroom plan, right? And it doesn't always show up correctly, right? So you always want to say, if I'm looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath, or a 4-bed, 3-bath, you always kind of go one down. Right? That way you make sure you don't miss any of those halves or any of those offices that could be a 4th bedroom. All right. You can get really specific if they're looking for pools, gated communities, like any of these other things. And then right here on the alerts. So the frequency, you have lots of options. You can do instant, which is what I suggest that we all do, which means every single time a new listing hits the MLS and then goes over to our website, it's going to email that home right away, right? So that you can tell your clients, like, hey, as soon as a new listing hits the market, I'm going to send it to you, like within minutes, right? That's a big value to people. Like, I'm going to send you every single new listing that matches your criteria within minutes of it coming on the market. If you do daily, well, they're still going to get them every day. There might be a couple homes, right? Whatever hit the market the day before, right? So you want to be instant.
I have a question. So if they're on this and they click a property, will it automatically populate the texting part of it, or can they see it without like that? Like,
The texting part, what do you mean?
because you know how like sometimes like if they click on the search, right, and then the
Yes.
automated chats will start like.
Oh, like a text message gets sent to them as soon as they do it. We turned that off this last week.
Okay.
Yeah, so that is only, so the reason that was happening, and it wasn't supposed to be, but it's supposed to be doing it all the time. It's supposed to be for people that like haven't done it in a long time, because think about, you guys have your leads in your name that you're following up with more often, right? But we have 20,000 leads in the pond that are also coming back to our website. No one calling or texting them. Like no one gets a notification when those leads come back and look at homes. So we'd have those automated messages go out to try to like spark the conversation so that we don't miss that opportunity.
Just because it says your name, and sometimes my client has been like, "What? We were just talking." You know?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
So they're confused.
Yeah, no, we turned that off.
Also, when you get them from the pond and then you refresh their Y local, like it sends the message right after. You notice?
Which message? The text? I don't know that one.
Cause see, I have like I want to say 2 people that like I got from the ponds and I had like a really nice conversation with them and I updated their Y local to their specific criteria that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And then like immediately it sends them the text after and I'm like I just spoke to them like for like 9 minutes.
And you put it in your name.
So it's the same thing happening. So yeah, because what happens is you sent them the homes and they went and looked at them, right? And so our system knows that they went onto the website because it shows you every single house they looked at, right? And when they looked at it. So what was the same thing she said is it was just happening. It was just happening as soon as you did it because they were just going to look at the houses. So we turned that off. Yeah, it wasn't supposed to happen every single time they look at a house. So we're gonna fix that and make it to where it works for like the ponds only. All right? Perfect. Then for some reason it asks you again if you want dynamic or agent defined. So just put dynamic again. And it's, what happened? Oh, bedrooms. What am I missing? It says, well, usually this works. Well, usually it says save and submit and save, right? I'll have to go through this to figure out what happened. But that's how you set up YLOPO, all right? Let me see. It says there's one house. Maybe I have to have a minimum. Nope.
Is it missing a phone number or email?
Email's there. Right there. Email preferred, it's got me. Let me refresh. Oh, crap. Let's try this again. All right, I will have to figure out why it's not letting me do it.
You might have to put the email in the email preferred.
It's right there. Nope. All right. I don't know. I'll figure it out. But that's what you need to do on all of your leads, right? And if you have that problem where it's not working, let me know because we got to figure out why it's not working.
Then do you have to put the link into?
No, it will automatically show up there. Yeah, once you add them to YLOPO, the two systems are connected. So it will automatically put the link on the lead page.
Does that automatically send them something?
Yep,
Right away?
right away. Like this person, there's one house available, or there was when I had the filters on, and it'll send them that house right away. And then every single new listing, like it'll send them everything like right then. And then once that initial email of everything is out, then every time a new listing hits the market, it's going to send them that email. All right. Now the next thing I want to look at is a seller. So let's see if any of these people have a seller tag. All right, so this lead was a Zillow lead. Liz, you had it. It's got the YLOPO stars link, and it has the seller report. So that's very good. So this person is getting their seller report. If you click on it, it'll open up the lead. Should open up the seller report, I believe.
I have one past out. Buyer's one? She looks like hers all the time.
I get notifications like crazy on these things. Okay, so the address, the address isn't complete. That's why it's not. But she has it. It's got part of an address, but it doesn't have a number. So it's not pulling. Huh? I know. Yeah, if it's land, there's no address, it's not going to work. It has to be a house, right? But this one had a street name, so it pulled it. But that's why when you go to the home equity report, and then it shows, if it's through you, it shows your name, your phone number, your email up here. If it was a real house, there would be a whole home value report right here. That tells you like how much it is, how many buyers are looking in the area. It's called a heat map. All the details, and they can update the details and like adjust the value, all that stuff.
Those are your buyers too, right? Like once they close on their property, doesn't they go under the seller report, right?
So let's say you close a house. That's a good question. Let's say you're working with a buyer. They buy a house with you. What does that seller or what does that buyer become as soon as you close escrow? Correct. A future seller, right? So, and you have their address because you know what house they bought, right? So whenever you're working that lead as a buyer, you don't have that home address that you're in escrow on as their address, right? Because they don't live there. But as soon as they own that home, guess what you should do? You should add that address to their contact details. So now you have their address there forever. Then you add a seller report so that they can now know how much their home is worth forever, right? And then if there ever comes time where they have to sell it, they're going to have been getting this home report from you every 2 weeks for however long. And then that's going to help you stay in front of them without you actually having to follow up with them. All right? And then also they'll start to get different marketing that has to do with like things to know about your home. Like I've sent out emails about like giving people gardeners, like recommendations, like just trying to provide value. Like if you guys need a pool guy, hit me up. I got a pool guy. If you need a gardener, hit me up. Like you're just like telling all these people things, and like people respond to those really well. I'm not trying to sell them anything. I'm just trying to provide value. So that's all I try to do. When I like market to people, I'm just trying to give them free shit. Like free information, free shit forever so that they actually read it. And then when it comes time, they're gonna be like, hey, Ryan's been freaking like telling me all this stuff for years. Right? And it works really, really well. Cool.
Can you show us how to set up
The seller report? Yeah, let me try to find one that is an actual address. This one is one of mine. Okay. So like this person right here was one of our past sellers. They already have it set up. But the way to set it up is first you have to add the Ylopo Stars link, right? So they have to have this top one right here. They won't have this one yet if you haven't set up the home search or the seller report. So what you do is you click on their link and it opens up this page right here. This is also where you can adjust their home search if you need to. You can pause it, you can turn it off, you can, another thing, once you get someone into escrow, turn this off. Do not keep sending them homes unless you want them to want to cancel and get another one, right? So when you get someone in escrow, pause the home search. Once they close, turn it back on, all right? That is a rookie move, per se. Okay, so like all the options of things that you can do with this lead are all right here. So you can create a push listing where it just sends them one home, create a new search or listing alert, then right here, create a seller alert, a new one. So this person, where's it at? I said it had one. Where's my seller reports? Oh, seller reports right here. So this one's already set up right here. But let's create one. So if you click on that, then you're going to name it, all right? And I would put home value report for their address, all right? So, and quick marketing tip for email marketing, your subject line is the most important part of an email. That is what determines if someone is going to open it up or not. All caps subject lines get opened way more often, right? So you want to, because they see it over everything else, right? You want to stand out in the sea of emails that they're getting. So I always do mine in all caps.
Are these seller reports there for people in the process of selling or thinking about selling, or because they wouldn't be at that same address if they sold it already, right? So
Correct. So yeah, if they've already sold their home, then we don't want that address there anymore. Or we can actually mark that as sold, I think. So when you set it up, if they have another house, though, you can set it up on a different house, or if they moved out of state or whatever, you're not going to help them, then you can just turn the seller report off because they're no longer a potential client of ours. The home value report for address, whatever it is. It gives you the zip code already. You type in the address, and then you say how, you make sure active is checked, and then it's frequency. How often do you want to send them this report? I think weekly is a little bit too much because that value is not going to change. I mean, it's more about just like they see an email from you every single week. So I would do bi-weekly or weekly. So once every 2 weeks, they're getting an email from you. You could do it. What's up, dude? How are you?
How you doing?
This is Dan, guys. He owns the Modesto team.
How you doing?
So once, I wouldn't do less than every 2 weeks, all right? If you want to be in front of them more often, though, do a week. So like our marketing plan is like I send 2 emails a week to all buyers, all sellers, all agents. Like that's the marketing plan, at least 2 a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So that's it, guys. Any questions on how to set that up? Did that answer your question? Yeah, this one's really easy because it's just like put in the address and hit save and it works. Yes.
Sorry, I'm just backtracking a little bit. So I just wanted to like ask. So once you set up the white logo and all, is that link automatically gonna be attached to the follow-up boss account for that link automatically? Because there's been times that I've like done it. I'll click the other tab to go back to follow-up boss, refresh it, and there's no link that pops
And it doesn't show up?
automatically. Yeah. So I didn't know if I was doing something wrong.
I just did it too, and it wasn't immediately, but then it did.
Took a couple minutes. It might take a few minutes. Yeah, once you add them, because the 2 systems are linked. So once you add them into YLOPO, it's going to put that link there on Follow-Up Boss automatically. It should. If you wait a few minutes and you keep refreshing and it doesn't happen, then probably let us know because then maybe something went wrong. Cool, good question. Anyone else? Anything? All right, that's today's training. So remember, we're still talking about lead conversion, right? So in order to convert more leads, we need to reach out to them more, right? One of the ways that we automate that is through the listing alerts, the seller reports. It keeps them coming back to our website and it keeps you in front of them without you actually having to do anything except the initial setup, right? And then it also, our system notifies us when people are using it. So then that tells us when we should go reach out to them, right? So if someone hasn't looked at homes in 6 months and then all of a sudden they come back to our website, they start looking at homes again, and you're gonna get a notification, hey, so-and-so hasn't looked at homes in 6 months, they just logged back in, you should call that person immediately, right? That's how it helps you with lead conversion to get more deals. It makes sure that you don't miss anybody, all right? Cool. All right, that's it for today, guys. It is 11:07. Let's take a quick 10-minute break, and then we'll have 45 minutes of calls till noon. Chris Waters should be here at noon, and everyone should start pouring in. And remember, event is this Saturday. Use this time to remind your people that you've already told. If you have not brought anybody, try and get somebody, all right? And it is at 12 p.m. this Saturday at River Lakes Ranch Park. Easter Bunny photos are the first 30 minutes. So if they have kids, they want to get Easter Bunny photos, make sure they show up on time.
Yes, remind them to get there on time or early, because the Easter Bunny's also
Yes.
gonna be.
James already took the costume home, so I think he probably wears it at home right now. Did he leave?
No, he walked out.
Oh.
I was right there.
Did you hear that, James? You wearing that costume around the house? The Easter Bunny costume? I saw you took it already.
Yes, you did.
Oh, I was like, you better have. Yeah. All right, guys. That's all.
The Easter Bunny has an open house at 1, so he is gonna leave at 12:30 for now.
Oh shit.